Welcome to Market Buzz. I'm Greg Schnell, the Canadian technician and host of the Market Buzz. Each show we do a deep dive into different industries using weekly charts to see what is happening on a long timeline. Please follow me on Twitter at Schnell Investor, and you can also find my blogs on gregschnell.com as well as StockCharts.com. So this week I want to cover off gold miners. They've been rocking for a while, but they just kind of renewed a breakout this week, so I thought I'd jump back into that one. And I want to cover off the market bouncing into the quarter end. There seems to be some ideas there. And again, the gold miners are rising. And just so everyone knows, the website gregschnell.com has changed a lot in the last month or two. Dwight and I have been working together to try and figure out different ways to improve it to help people with technical analysis. So if you're interested, you could head on over there. I do want to say Happy Canada Day to all the Canadians out there on July the 1st and Independence Day for the Americans on July the 4th. This was a picture I took on the weekend from the Columbia National Wildlife Area in East Kootenay, and it was just stunning. These are all water lilies down here in the water. But anyway, it was just one of those days where the magic was in front of you, and I thought I'd share that for our holiday. So if you're looking for what do we have over at gregschnell.com, there's lots of analysis, a newsletter and a weekly video come out regularly. This weekend there was 2 videos. There was so much to cover off. And I do a monthly recorded conference call. If you were to sign up, you'd catch the conference call for July the 2nd. That'll be tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. And trade setups 5 per day. And again, there's 2 of us working there, and Dwight and Greg. And if you're interested, I've put in a discount for us all, Independence Day sale, and go to the private investors tab and look under annual memberships, and you can save $360 using the coupon code DAILY5. So with that, let's jump on over. I am presenting at the Money Show on July the 9th, so it's a 2-day event. I'm presenting on July the 9th at 10:20 a.m. Eastern, and if you're interested, you can register free and catch that. As well, I'll be presenting at the StockCharts event held mid-July from July 13th to 18th, and on July the 14th, I'll be presenting at the Wealth 365 Summit. There's I think 70 speakers in this one, so it's a huge one. Anyway, if you'd like to catch that, you can catch me on Tuesday, July 14th at 9 a.m. And then with the StockCharts team, I'll be part of, you can catch that right on the StockCharts TV website. And then on that whole week, and then on the Saturday morning, July 18th, I'll be presenting with Dave Keller. And so if you're interested in any of that, lots of good technical analysis coming up. And I think those three different shows are pretty interesting, and all of them are free. So that does make it a pretty interesting July coming up. So first of all, I want to cover off what the markets are doing. And the intraday view, you can see we hadn't done much for 2 weeks here, but we really came out of the chute the 29th and 30th here, rallying up pretty high. And our PPO on the 60-minute chart, this one's got a different time frame setting on it, 440,100. But you can see it's just about to turn up, and the rate of change indicators are all starting to turn up. So that's usually a pretty positive place. We're about to test this downsloping trend line that's been in place for a couple of weeks now already. And so basically since the Fed meeting on July the 10th, we've been declining pretty hard, but we continue to find support at the 200-day moving average. And that looks like with any sort of push up at all, we should be able to get the 50-day moving average back above the 200, and that would be the positive rotation that you normally see, where price is above the 50, above the 200, and that would suggest the markets are going higher. So it's been a soft month of June. Not much money's been made here. There was money made in the first week of June, but since then it's been a relatively rocky start. Things like Tesla were up $100, almost $100 on June 30th, so that's a pretty big move. And then on the weekly charts, again, we've just been doing a staccato step over here. everything going back and forth relatively quickly, and we want to see this obviously break out to the upside. When we go look at the NASDAQ 100, the picture is not as choppy, and what we see there is the NASDAQ is trying to surge past the highs it made June 23rd, and again, price action has been better on the NASDAQ, so we're up near the prior highs. And one of the things is, if it was to roll over now, we kind of had this, we'd have a series of a high, a higher high, and then a lower high. We don't want to see that, obviously, so we want to see this breakout to the upside. And on the weekly chart again, the NASDAQ 100 has been doing a lot of the heavy lifting, so it continues up and to the right. And once again, we're back above the 10,000 level, so this is looking pretty bullish. For the Canadians out there, the TSX had pulled back and really hadn't done much for most of June either, and it's starting to try and turn higher. And again, some of the gold stocks we'll cover today are in there, but you can see there's this downtrend line that fits nicely right across the top of what we're going through here. So if this can start to break out, that would be very, very positive. We're below the 200 and above the 50, so if we continue to find support here and start to turn up, that would be great. On the weekly basis, the PPO is still below zero. We'd like to see that get back above, but in general, the charts are trying to improve. And we've got this pattern going on with kind of a pole and a flag out here on the right. I'd like to see this start to exercise and go higher. That would help a lot. Okay. And briefly, one other group to check on is the large cap tech, and I just want to show those. There's a lot going on there. Here is Amazon up in the top, and what we see is on Monday morning, it tested below this big upsloping trend line that's been going on for a while. Gave us a hammer candle, and then today followed through to the upside. So a really nice push, and 2,800 is in the next sights here for a new high on Amazon. Apple held that trend line on Monday morning. Facebook dipped below the 50-day moving average and then popped back up. So it's on its way. Google had a big down Friday, nice push up on Monday, and trying to recover on Tuesday. So the real question is, can we get back above these big black candles? Netflix, also a hammer candle off the 50-day moving average and turned higher. Microsoft broke out and made new highs today on the Tuesday. And Disney, sitting just under the 50-day moving average and at horizontal support. It had broken that trend line almost a week ago, so we'd like to see that start to break to the upside, obviously. And Tesla, again, big push today. The daily range was almost $100, but finished up right near the high, so a very nice push by Tesla. And let's get into those gold stocks. So one of the, actually, I'm going to go back and I'm just going to, I'll grab a new window here. What I want to talk about, first of all, is the price of gold itself, and then we're going to get into the individual stocks. Now, if I just can zoom in on this a little bit here, I want to go to 1211. There. And what we see is this 1788 sticking in here from April and coming across, and gold closed right on the $1,800 level today. So it's been consolidating for the last week. For the people in the GregSchnell.com newsletter, we've been covering off the rally in gold for a couple of weeks already. Anyway, there was a little downtrend here that got broken. We've moved up and we basically jogged sideways in here for, call it, the week. But yesterday, on the Monday, gold was flat, but it broke out on Tuesday here, and you can see way up above this 1,800 level. So it looks like we're about to start the next leg higher, and that was one of the reasons that I wanted to cover off gold. The momentum indicator, the PPO, has started to turn up, and all of these things are looking pretty positive for the space. So let's go look at the gold stocks, and I just want to talk about some of the names in here. I have done, of the filtering I wanted to do, I basically just turned on the scooter ranking, which is StockCharts technical ranking, and just sorted things by the strongest scooter ranking. So we'll have small caps, large caps, everything in here. Um, and it's basically just the strongest stocks win. But this stock was a $20 stock in February. It's now almost 200. A huge move out of Aura Minerals. International Tower Hill Mine. This one had a big push so far this week, gone from $2 to 260, and again breaking out to new all-time highs. Northern Dynasty Minerals. This one's got copper. But it's been consolidating sideways for roughly 6 weeks. And again, if this is going to start to make the next leg higher, it's definitely building up tension, and we'll see which way it can break out. It did break through this 147 level, which was a 2-year high, just at the end of May, and then consolidated for most of June. So if it's about to start its next leg, that would be pretty important. Guyana Goldfields, this one has just gone flat here, so we'll ignore that one. This gold mining stock, this one is just pushing from $2 to $2.30 this week, breaking out to new 2-year highs. And we see this a lot in all of the gold names. PPO turning up above zero. I really like this technically. The gold miners ETF in the US called Ring, this one has been pushing above its 10-week moving average, and it hasn't quite broken through this 31.72 high. It's sitting around $30. But it looks like that's what's next on the slate for it. Looking at the silver miners ETF, so these precious metals in general, not just gold, but what we see here is this candle breaking out, and we closed today at 13.39, which is 4 cents above the 13.35 high, and when we look back, that's a good 3-year high, so really, really nice to see. GDX, the most common ETF for the gold miners, is sitting here at 36.68, just under the 37.49 high, and we'd obviously like to see that one continue to pop to the upside. The volume has been moderate in all of this gold, but this consolidation that we've seen here, I want to say for almost 3 full months, is not a bad thing. So what you get is you get your breakouts. We broke above $32. We've consolidated in a range now, and now it looks like it's set to take the next leg higher. Timmins Gold Corp, this one broke through this $1.20 high and has started to move upward and is towards the $2 level, heading towards the $2 level this week. Teranga Gold Corp breaking out to new highs, up to 2.4% this week. And again, these things it looks to me like they're just starting the next leg higher, but this one's been trending higher for a full year. Here's a bigger name, Newmont Mining Corporation, and again, back above the 10-week moving average, so that's bullish. Like to see that turn. All of these gold miners, we're starting to test our patience here with the lows in early June, but they've since started to rally out of that hole. And that one looks pretty nice. Again, the volume at 50 million shares a week, so pretty good. And then for the Junior Gold Miners ETF, JDXJ, this one doesn't have any multiplier on it. It's just the regular one time. But this one is hitting $50 this week and pushing up nice and high. The full stochastic sitting up here above 80, and it can run that way for a while like it did back here in 2016. But the gold names have been setting up for a while, and they're really starting to add pressure. Here's one called Rubicon Minerals that's been horizontal for multiple years, so perhaps it's the next one to all of a sudden go bing and pop back up. Dundee Precious Metals, this one's hasn't been accelerating higher, but nothing wrong with the move. It's been moving up nicely, and so far this week it's up 1.59%. Alamos Gold, AGI. This one broke out to new 3-year highs today, breaking above the early May highs. So this is, again, another nice breakout, and it wouldn't take too much for this to get through that 1341 and move to new 5-year highs. SIL is the Silver Miners ETF as opposed to SLV, which is the Silver ETF. And this one is at 37.50, and again, 37.53 wouldn't take much to move up above that. And you can just see really starting to break out of this consolidation around this 31, 33 area. So nice push, and it looks ready to go. Corvos Gold, this one's sitting in here around 330, and it wouldn't take much to push through that 355 and get to new all-time highs. Argonaut Gold, This one had a big move last week and has started again this week, giving a little pullback after the sudden surge. So perhaps could buy it on a little bit of a retracement here, call it the 250 level, and starting to head up towards the $3 level. New Gold, this stock was out of favor for years, and it's just getting ready to start to break through this $2 level. That would be nice to see. It wouldn't take much to give it a pop. HGU, this is the Canadian 2x gold bull, and it's been running nicely. Last week and this week it was at $22.50 just 2 weeks ago, and here we have it almost $30, so nice push higher. Kinross Gold, this is a bigger name. This is the US listing, KGC. And what we see on here, the chart's been pushing up, and this doesn't look like much, but this is a 5% candle, so you can see these gold names can move relatively quick. This was $2.50 back at the $2.70 back at the bottom of the coronavirus, and up to $7.67, so that's at least a triple. And here we are sitting at starting to move through the $7 level. It's not going to take much to get through and hit another new all-time high. Equinox Gold, this one seems like it's just ramping up. The parabolic move is just starting to accelerate, but moving up nicely, kind of $1 a week over the last 4 weeks. And quite clearly as it's moving up here, each one of those are roughly a 10% ride. So far this week, it's only up 0.73. Avino Silver and Gold Mines, this one, big base under here at $1, so it could be the next one to start heading higher quickly. Semifo setting up, it's well below its peak from 2019, which I find odd, but it is sitting in here at that 480 level, and a push through that would get us pretty close to new 6-month highs. And the scooter ranking and everything is telling us that the momentum is definitely into the stock. Rocks Gold, this one's been outstanding. Big level here at 145, and we're seeing this week pushing up just above it to 150. New mining results and stuff like that there. Kinross Gold, the Canadian version, so this is K.TO. Again, already covered off the stock, but it recently went to new all-time highs, or at least 5-year highs. And you see the push up here to $11 back. And now it looks like it's ready to start its next leg higher. PPO turning up just above 0. So very, very bullish. Alamos Gold, this one here, breaking out to new 4-year highs. Here's 1020 that it needs to get through, and we're sitting at 938, so it wouldn't take much to kind of tick that box and make a nice rise up there. But again, just breaking out above the April highs, and looks ready to start its next leg. Barrick Gold, one of the biggest miners in the world for gold, 28.42 was its high earlier in April, and we're sitting in around the $27 level. So a little bit more to go, and we saw that one break out to new 5-year highs and then retrace. So this looks like a pullback, a test of the breakout level at 22. We got to 22 here, and now starting to move up again. PPO turning up again well above 0. That's a very positive feature. Asanko Gold, this one is trying to break through this base here at $182. And how many times have I said that already, just in these top few stocks? And it looks like it's ready to kind of make a leg higher. This one was all the way up at $6 a few years ago. It's under $2 now, so perhaps that's its ultimate direction higher. Centerra Gold, this one sitting around $12.90, pulled back hard to almost $5 in the coronavirus, and now broke through $12.90 earlier this quarter in May, and now it looks like it's ready to push up. So it's just breaking above this $14.24 level. Again, after a nice consolidation, seems like it wants to make another leg higher. Wheat and precious metals, this one's been a real stud, $40 to $65, then a pullback to $49, and now sitting at around $60. I think it's got another leg ready to run. B2 Gold, these are all starting to form into triangles here, and a breakout again through $8 would mark the next layer. But you can see it was stuck here under this $5 layer for a long time, and now it looks like it's got its upside momentum. A lot of these have the COVID dip on them, and if they can start to keep going, I think that's a nice opportunity. Here's Lundin Gold. And anything above this $13 level looks like a ready to move higher sort of thing. This one doesn't trade a lot of volume. Its weekly volume is 2 million shares, but that's a nice chart shaping up here. Alistair Gold, this one's up around $10. Would be nice to see a continued push higher. Pan American Silver, another silver name, just breaking through this 34 level, 41 retest, and now looks like it's ready to start its next leg. New Gold, the U.S. listing on the Amex exchange. Again, on the Canadian side, it was stuck just under $2. Well, here it's stuck at $1.50. Anything above this 2-year base would be a very bullish start to turn there. Goldfields International, this one really starting to move higher. Broke out to new highs last week, continuing this week, and again, that's an uptrend. Gotta like that. Fortuna Silver Mines, this one's just breaking through the $6 level, heading to $7. Very nice setup. After kind of, it looks like it was in a big downtrend, and I'll say it was, but it was actually consolidating here for almost 2 years. So this looks good to finally see it break out of that base and start to make 2-year highs. Barrick Gold, again, this is the Canadian listing, running up to 40, back to 30, and about halfway back up now at 35 and back above the 10-week moving average. Usually getting above the 10-week is a nice place to be. Here's the GLD shares, and notice it made its lows back here in 2018 at 111. It's now at 165. So it's migrating higher by, let's say, 50%, but a lot of these gold names have done a lot more than 50%. So this was $17 to $40. So that's 150%, something like that. Big moves when you take the miners instead of the metals. Silvercrest Metals, this one has been gently guiding higher here for a while, but it's so compressed on the right-hand side here, it doesn't look like much, but this is actually a pretty tremendous stock. This is a 12-cent stock 5 years ago and is a $12 stock now, so have to appreciate the 100x move on that. Silvercrest is definitely one of the nicer names in the sector, and as it started to migrate up here, you can see a really nice push. So want to watch that keep going. Another gold trust. This one's ounce OUNZ, and trying to break through the $17 level. Looks pretty good. Continuing to head higher. Yamana Gold. Here we're at 750, and again, we had this big base. They break out of the base. It's run up, had the COVID dip, and now this looks like it's ready to go back through the prior highs at 757, and we're trading at 738. The IAU, another ETF for gold, popping through $17 this week. All of these are in a big uptrend, so this is nice. Sandstorm Gold broke through this 1050 earlier in the year, ran up to 12, pulled back, and now it looks like it's ready to start its next leg. Seabridge Gold, this one's breaking out to new all-time highs, 2384. Our prior high was 2071. Ran up to 2310, pulled back, and now looks ready to go again. So I like this breakout above, pull back, and now ready to run. Cinnamon Egypt, this one broke out to new 5-year highs, pulled back, and looks like it's ready to make its run, sitting at $3 now. Franco-Nevada, big company here, FNV, $152 stock, down to $120 and back up to $139, $140 call it. So it's getting ready to start its next leg higher. I like the shape. Pan American Silver, I like the silver names a lot. This is a pretty big area to stay focused on, and this $30 level looks like it's ready to go. Again, a lot of these names were cautious here for almost 10 weeks as they drifted sideways, but now they look like they're starting their next leg. B2 Gold Corp, ticker symbol BTG, ready to break through this $6 level and head higher. Mag Silver, this one is performing nicely here, breaking through $19 layer, 1860 in here. This one looks like it's ready to go to all-time highs, checking out $23, and it's sitting at 1916, so another 10 or 15% to get to prior highs. Anglo Gold Ashanti US listing AU, and this one's just breaking out to new all-time highs this week, so very bullish. SILJ, these are junior silver ETF. This one should have a lot of sparkle to it. $12, trying to get through to push up to nice higher highs. Humana Gold, this one's been drifting higher quite nicely. Sitting at 550. Prior high over here was 579. Probably this week, next week, it's going to take a run at that 579. The junior gold index from BMO, this one ZJG, that's a tough one to pronounce out. Anyway, is sitting up around $80, and it was at 72 back here, so this is really starting to strengthen. Franco-Nevada on the Canadian side, this one's running up against $200. The Canadian equivalent to GDX is called XGD. And this one, again, last week started to move, and this week is back above the 10-week and starting to get going. Moving above the 10-week is a nice place on commodities in general. This Endeavour Mining, this one's been consolidating nicely for, I want to say 6 or 8 weeks, and you can see, look at this beautiful chart shape. This one looks like, in my opinion, this one's got really nice chart shape, and a breakthrough here looks set to continue. Gold Money, this one, lots of resistance in this 250 layer. Wouldn't mind seeing it pop up. It did earlier this year in March get up to 321 and then come all the way back to $2. So 30% pullback and now starting to run. So that's a nice chart shape. Eldorado, sitting in here under this $15 layer. It wouldn't take much to really start pushing higher. I like the shape of the chart in general. Silver Standard Resources, this one's a great name. I like this SSRM. It has been running up for 2 years with some big wiggles in there, but nonetheless, it looks like it's just getting back above the 10-week and getting ready to start its next surge. So 23.42, 25.57, and it's sitting up in the $28 range. This one just starting to make higher highs again. I like this shape. Oceana Gold, this one's sitting in here around $2 and wants to start turning higher, back above its 40-week moving average for the first time in almost a year. Really like it. It's been sitting here for 8 weeks and now looks ready to thrust higher. This is the Canadian side of the same thing, Oceana Gold. Here's Grand Columbia Corp. This one, it's been working its way higher, not aggressively or not quickly, but just general year after year big uptrend, and nothing wrong with a stock that, moves up 50% every year. That's just fine. So this is sitting in around the 688 level. 781 was prior high, 747, but back in 2019 it was 591. So it's between the two right now, about halfway. It wouldn't take much to turn up and get this one going again. Silvercorp Metals is sitting here, really nice chart shape around $7 and looks to retest the highs and take them out again. So all of these names are running. Hopefully that gives you some names to look at. I could go through more and more, but I think the bigger issue here, go into the gold names, find the chart shapes you like. If you're looking for new 55-day highs or all-time highs, there's lots of choice in there. With that, I would like to say thank you for taking the time to join me on Market Buzz. Market Buzz airs Wednesdays at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. You can also see the recordings on StockCharts TV YouTube page. You can find other blogs for me on StockCharts under the Canadian Technician, and go over to gregschnell.com. There's lots of free stuff over there to learn more about charting. And again, those 3 shows that I'm in, the Money Show on July the 8th, and the Wealth 365 on July 14th, and StockCharts TV on July 18th. We look forward to seeing you there. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Hey, Grayson Rose here with StockCharts. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, consider giving it a like down below, maybe leave us a comment, and if you're new to the channel, you can subscribe at the link up above. We're gonna bring you daily content from an incredible collection of technical analysts and financial experts.